Good morning, Zach. We're here for another webisode, as you call them. You're our moderator, and I'm the Fishwick of Fishwick and Associates. So we thought this week we talked to our audience a little bit about some of the tools of the trade, some of the things that we keep in our toolbox in our day-to-day work that I think would be interesting to people, and also kind of explain the process we have when we're in cases, when we're evaluating them, and also as we kind of move forward with cases. We've stayed with a brisk practice through coronavirus. Again,
We have.
we've been very brisk. We're obviously concerned about everybody in our community, and we wish everybody great health and safety. And we're very admiring of the work of our first responders, the frontline medical workers are doing. But today we wanted to talk about something a little drier, but nonetheless, it's important to us. It's what we do every day. So when we get a case, one of the first things we do is we do a lot of legal research on cases. Yeah, obviously, I've handled a lot of cases, so have the other lawyers in our firm. But we always hit the books. You hit the books and you find out, what judges have said in other cases about our situation, and we look that up. I've got a pretty good idea of what the other side's going to do. It's like anything. We're going into battle. We're headed to war. We want to know what the other side's going to do. There's been a story that a History Channel's got a thing on Ulysses S. Grant, and he was very good at anticipating what the other side was going to do. And we try to do that too in our law practice. We try to anticipate what the other side's going to do. But more importantly, I think we try to anticipate what the judge is going to do. The judge is the boss, and so I've got a pretty good feel for the judges in Virginia and had a lot of cases in front of them, and they're the most important people in the courtroom. And so we always want to know what the judges are going to do. And so we have those discussions with our clients. This is what we're going to do. It's what the other side's going to do. And this is what we think the judge is going to do. And you kind of always have to know those things. After all, this is a legal system, and the judges are the umpires. They call the balls and the strikes. And so we have to anticipate what they're going to do. And so, Zach, you're our number one investigator, only in-house investigator. You lead the charge. You worked with me at the U.S. Attorney's Office. As everybody knows by now, you're the star of this show. You're a former Marine, former cop. But what are some of the things that we look at, not only when we're evaluating a case, the word forensic, I know that covers kind of social media, phones, those sorts of things. When you're helping us either investigate a case or as we're prosecuting a case, we almost always represent the plaintiff. What are some of the things we look at?
Right. Well, we'll just break it down pretty simple. We'll go with what everybody has as a cell phone. So sometimes in a case, we will get a client will say, I have such and such information on my phone, be it texts, emails, but I deleted it, or I don't know where they are, or pictures. So what we have at our disposal is we have the ability to use what's known as a Wayback Machine, and we plug it in and it dumps, and we get a report, and that literally lists all the data and information on that phone. And then I take that report and I go through that report, and I usually am able to find, the missing data or deleted data in question from there. And then after that, I'm able to transfer that data to a different database and perform analytics on that.
All right. And then besides folks' phones, do we look at folks who are on the other side of the case, their social media, and any social media that people were representing?
We absolutely do. So, and all that falls into open source, and that's literally just what, a common stalker does. Not that we stalk, but literally a lot of people this day, they put their personal business out there for better or worse. And it literally is just a couple clicks on the internet. We can go on and look at Facebook postings. They'll list, where they're living now, or where they've been, or where they ate. And again, I'll take that information that we glean from open source, and I'll run that through one of the paid databases that we have at our disposal.
All right. So some of the old school tools of the trade that we use is, you're good with people. You've got, you're a very genuine, honest person, but you help us talk to witnesses in cases or folks who made something about it. That's kind of old school, but is that one of the tools of the trade that we interview witnesses?
Absolutely. And probably that is the most important. You can have all these high-speed databases and, you can, algorithms, run analytics, all that. But what it comes down to is people face to face. And me preferably, I like to get out there and I like to meet with them in person. There's a lot you can miss over the phone or even remotely here, just from body language, things like that. But you also create a rapport. And I think that first and foremost is important, whether it's somebody on the other side or we're four. I still think you can create a rapport and you will gain vital information that you wouldn't get anywhere else.
And it's been obviously for the last 8 weeks, it's been very difficult to do in-person things. Hopefully the coronavirus will slowly lift and we'll have more opportunities for that. But that's been a real challenge the last 2 months.
It
So
has.
one of the things we use that folks may not know about, I love the name of it. It's called the Wayback
Correct.
Machine. And what is that, Zach?
So essentially what the Wayback Machine is to break it down, the internet every once in a while will back itself up and every web page will back itself up. Well, when it does, it records all the information and data in the set place at that time. So if you want to go look at a website a year ago and see what was listed on that website, you just go to the Wayback Machine and you type in the address that you want to check, and then it will populate the field with all the dates that it backed it up. And then you can go on there and it will show you, if, certain missing data was there at that time or wasn't there at that time. And that itself has been really helpful when people have, specifically like on Facebook or their personal websites or blogs, when they have deleted information, they say, well, that was never on my website. Well, we'll go to the Wayback Machine, we'll find it, we'll take a screenshot, and then we'll present it to them. And then they're like,
Occasionally in your line of work, just occasionally, people have not told you the truth, as I understand it.
just a little bit, just a little
Yeah.
bit.
And so one other tools that it's in our toolbox that I'll just talk about briefly that you were involved in one we did recently. And that is sometimes when we're going to trial, we'll do what's called a focus group. And there are lots of ways you can do those. We do them kind of informally, but what a focus group really tells you is, we don't, focus groups, if they're done effectively, they're not slanted, pro our side or pro the other side. We just want to ask folks who might be on a jury or representative of an area, what would they do in a case like this? And I have found over the years when we've done those, Zach, that it's been incredibly powerful information. What's great is people will give you their honest feedback. And I think that's great. I had a case several years ago where the lawyer on the other side kept telling me that he was going to crush us in court. He was going to beat us. He was going to beat us. And we had done a focus group, but I knew that wasn't the case. And so I think it's important. My son Jack's got a friend of his who doesn't always read everything that's happening in the news of the days. And so I've told him he'll be our focus group because he doesn't know what's happening on any of our cases. I'd rather have somebody who knows nothing about our case. We kind of give it to them and see what they say about it. And if they're positive or negative, we evaluate that information. So it's a more sophisticated tool, but it's another tool that's in our toolbox. In the right case, we use. It's all designed to help our clients as best we can. Ultimately, we get evaluated on, whether we win or lose, and that can vary on what the type of case it is. But as you know, we're all fairly competitive folks, and so we use these tools of our trade to kind of help us to get that edge in the practice of law. So it's something that I love very much. I'm, feel honored to have the chance to represent people and to practice law. And I just wanted to talk to people today, Zach, with you about some of the tools that we use in their cases. And thank you again for being our webisode host with the mostest.
Absolutely. And if you guys like this, please like and subscribe and comment below, and we will see you guys next week.